Alright, ladies and gents, are we live? It is your favorite Macho Libre, and today I'm gonna teach you about the repeaters. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that they wanted an updated guide, like an updated how-to tutorial for the repeaters, and I'm here to provide that. But first, we must understand the repeaters. So, the last time that I made a tutorial about the repeaters were a modular weapon. What does this mean? A modular weapon was that you could change the barrel, you could change the prism to change the UE and all this. This was the old repeaters. Now repeaters are like every other weapon in the game. So like they're similar to all the other weapons in the game. You can choose like the type of repeaters. For example, Inferno's Roar is the Hellions repeaters, and they will come with a perk and its own unique effect as well as its own cell slots. So each one will have their own unique cell slots, and that is basically how the repeaters are now. They are just like every other weapon, except they are the only so-called ranged weapon in the game. But repeaters also need to be used at close range, and I'm actually going to teach you all about that. Alright, so first let's actually go through the moves of the repeaters, okay? The repeaters, you can start by using the R button to reload. Now, you have a key binding for this, and where to find your key bindings is actually in the move list. All right, it will show you here. If you go to the Dauntless menu, under the next to your inbox under social, it will say move list. You can go here to see all the possible moves for the repeaters. So your chamber abilities is for me is the right click, my basic, which is the heavy attack. My basic shots are the light attack. All right, reload. Now, empowered reload is the same thing. It just depends on your distance from the behemoth. So I'm going to go through this as well. The grip ability is your Q, which is your special ability key. And this one is from my Omnicell, which is discipline in this case. All right. So there are no combos for the repeaters. All right. There are no combos at all. This just explains the effects of the particular special. In this case, my special is Marksman Chamber. As you remember, it's my heavy attack, and my grip is the Captain's Grip. So this is just an explanation on this. There are other general info that you can find, but none of this is relevant specifically to the repeaters. Alright, so what I'm going to show you now is how to use the repeaters. First and foremost, I'm going to teach you about reloading. If you reload, alright, from a distance from the behemoth where your reticle is red, but it does not have the symbol, the sort of curve arrow symbol. If it does not have the curve arrow symbol, this is called a normal reload. All right, so if I were to use my ammunition right now and reload, my ammunition counter, as you can see in the top left hand corner, it goes back to 12. If I have the circular arrows and I reload, I receive another blue bar underneath my reload bar. This is called an empowered reload. An empowered reload adds to the damage of your weapon. Let's see that's in action. Alright, first of all, I'll shoot now. If I were to shoot 6 shots, I would do about 414 DPS. Now, empowered reload, alright, 6 shots, and you do about 1057 DPS. It is a great increase, alright? So make sure you're always doing an empowered reload. Let's try my heavy attack. If I were to use my heavy attack, in this case, it is Marksman Chamber. Alright? That is how it will look. And my grip ability, it will throw down a grip. You must pick up the grip in this case. Alright? To get your buff. Now, let's go through what are your various types of chambers, grips, and mods that you have on your repeaters. This is going to be an in-depth tutorial on the repeaters, and I'm actually going to show you some live combat examples later. Alright, you've got 3 choices of chambers, alright? The first is the salvo chamber. This is your default chamber, okay? This one, when it is not empowered, you will fire a big shot like that. And when it is empowered, you will fire a spread shot, okay? Now, while it is reloading, I'm going to take a chance to explain the full bore chamber, okay? And we'll go and do all of them empowered later. Full bore chamber, alright? When it's not empowered, it will just shoot a simple shot like that. It will just hit the surface of the behemoth. It will not penetrate. The empowered version will penetrate. The Marksman Chamber, when it is not empowered, alright, it will only mark it with a white mark. This only gives a small damage bonus, and it only applies to you. Alright? Reading the description carefully, it fires a shot in a line dealing 250 damage to the first behemoth hit. If a part is struck, that part takes 40% more damage from shots for 10 seconds. Empowered, damage bonus is increased to 80% and 25% to all allies. Okay? For the full bore chamber, the empowered it fires a piercing bolt in a line dealing damage that falls as it travels. The empowered version deals greatly increased damage and pushes the Slayer backwards. The salvo chamber will fire 3 missiles in a spread and deal increased damage when empowered. Otherwise, it is, as I showed you before, it just fires one big blob. Let's actually look at it empowered. Okay, so now the empowered version. This is the empowered salvo. As you can see, it is a spread shot. It is very effective in close ranges, but it doesn't actually do much damage. The full bore chamber is the default choice for those that do not want to use marksman chamber. Marksman chamber is generally used more in team play as well as for yourself. Hang on, yes, I am shooting a video right now. So, carrying on with my explanation, for the full bore chamber, you want to fire through the behemoth as best you can because it will penetrate and deal plenty of damage. As you can see right there, it went from tail to head, and that is how you can deal more damage with the full bore chamber. Last but not least, the marksman chamber is as I showed you before. Alright, when you have an empowered reload, it will mark it with the orange mark, which will deal greatly increased damage. You will see yourself in my next video. Thanks for supporting the channel. So now you understand all about the chambers. The grips, there are only two. The first one is the captain's grip, which I showed you. You have to collect the buff. Alright, when it's empowered, it will grant 15% attack speed for 15 seconds to all slayers in your team. This is why it is often used in team play to increase attack speed of the whole team by 15 seconds, by 15% for 15 seconds. The saboteur's grip is the only one that is different. I will show it to you now. When it is empowered, it will drop a mine. Alright, I'm not going to show you the non-empowered version, but this mine will take some time to arm. When it is armed, it can interrupt behemoths. It is not often used because nobody really uses that with discipline now. Discipline is what is primarily used for interrupting behemoths. Alright, sometimes if you throw it just right, you can also interrupt the behemoth when empowered without arming it. But that one can be a bit difficult to time, so I don't like to do that. Okay, Captain's Grip is my default choice. Now mods, there are many repeater mods, but there's only one that really does good work. Precision Sights is the default mod if you want best DPS. Lightweight Frame can give you 20% increased movement speed when at 6 or less ammunition. The Scope Sights increases the damage fall off range by 25%. This is not often used because you need to be close enough to the behemoth to empower reload. So most people will not use Scope Sights because there's no point in increasing the damage range. Demolition Sights is for dealing increased damage to minions, fauna, objects created by the behemoth. While empowered, the bonus is increased to 100%. The Lucky Magazine grants 2% critical strike chance for each round missing from the magazine. But the important thing to understand is that this is not usually relevant. Even if we were to play a build with Discipline and Cunning to increase critical strikes, most people would not use the Lucky Magazine because Precision Sights increases the base damage, which is further multiplied by your raw damage, modifiers like Berserker, Predator, and then it is further multiplied by your crit damage. So most people do not use Lucky Magazine because it is a loss in DPS. Extraction Catalyst is used often on Twin Suns, but not often on the repeaters. It will reduce both ability cooldowns by 2 seconds when dodging. The other thing that is used on repeaters very often is the Tactician's Magazine. This is often used in trials. And oh, we found another fan. Oh, hello. Yes, I am filming another video now. Look forward to it. Alright, so getting back to the point, the Tactician's Magazine, when I'm going to show you this one as an example because this one is very relevant. Let us say that I use my ability now, alright, both abilities, yeah? And then I expend my magazine. If I manage to, at 0, reload, did you see my cooldowns jump? That is what will happen. So that is how Tactician's Magazine works. It is often used in trials because that is where you want to keep up your buffs, things like that. But for most of my combat, I prefer the Precision Sights. Okay? Now, now that you've seen like how I'm glad you like it. I hope you like the other builds too. Might make another beginner striker build another day. We shall see. Heading off now. Thanks for the support. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the actual combat. So how do you fight with repeaters in actual combat? We're going to go to the basic frost escalation. All right, it doesn't really matter what my level is, because the build that I have is strong enough to completely smash whatever they're going to throw at me anyway. So we're going to go in and I'm going to show you how you fight with repeaters. Repeaters are more about staying close to the behemoth and knowing how to empower yourself with the reloads and also to deal best damage. All right, and this man likes the spin to win. That's good. That's good. I'm glad he likes the Macho Libre spin to win. Okay, so now we're going into a basic frost escalation. I'm going to show you now. You have seen the combat showcases from other repeaters. That's why I'm not going somewhere complex. I just want to show you how to fight with the repeaters. Repeaters do a lot of damage, but you need to understand that even though they can do a lot of damage, okay, the repeaters themselves do not have any interrupt native to them. That's why most people will use the discipline omnicell to have an interrupt. And at the same time, it also gives you a lot of extra viability with the repeaters to defend yourself if you are too close to behemoth. Okay, so we're going to see that now. I'm going to show you how we fight with the repeaters. Okay, so this is Macho Libre combat technique. Usually with the repeaters, if I were to, now this is a obviously no legendary build. This is I made for fun, just to like show people how to play beginner builds. Now usually what I will do is I will try and dodge attacks close to behemoth, and I will empower myself very soon, and I will immediately, if possible, now I missed that shot terribly, everybody forget that I missed the shot, okay? But what I will do is I will usually stay close to the behemoth, relatively close, enough to empower, but I also take some distance. This is in case the behemoth has a attack that is a fairly large range. I can dodge backwards out of the behemoth attack range. So please remember that with the repeaters you cannot sprint while you have them out. You have to holster them in order to sprint. So most people, when they need to move fast with the repeaters, they will repeatedly dodge roll, something like that. All right, your objective with the repeaters should be to effectively dish out as much damage as possible, because you have a lot of damage. But what you need to understand with the repeaters is that if you are not dodging effectively, you will die, and also you will lose your predator bonus. Almost all of my repeater builds, even the most beginner ones, they come with predator, because predator is something that is native to the repeaters. The repeaters are one of the easiest weapons to dodge with, therefore you should use them well for that purpose. You see, this I interrupt the shroud here, and then I will use my lantern to close the distance. Okay, I have my extra. I will immediately try and place a shot where I can, and this will help to deal extra damage. So I will often go for that limb. This Shrike is dead, and now we fight the Pangar. Okay, as soon as the Pangar goes down, I am doing the same thing here and just dishing out massive damage to the Pangar. Okay, it will die very soon. And of course you can, like, if anybody needs the proof, because some people say, oh, you know, maybe he does editing and whatever in his videos. I do not edit my videos. I do not use potions. Okay, if I were to use a potion, you will actually be able to see an animation, but I'm not going to do that here because there is a waste of time. All right, so here is my camera coming back. Okay, there'll be an animation if you see me use the potions, but I will obviously show you this same scene toward the end of the video, just to prove that we have not taken any potions. There are no cuts, no edits. All right, so whoever wants to argue that in my videos I take potions off screen or whatever, please note that this is actually what you guys have done multiple times in your own videos, and that is why you project it onto me. But the fans of the Macho Libre know that I am always the most authentic wrestler in all of Dauntless, and that is why you will never be as great as me. But to my lovely viewers and fans, you can do it. I believe in you. because you are cool kids. You're not like the uncool kids. All right, so now we have the rage there. Oh shit, that was already round 2. Forgot. Great. So now we are there, round 3. So with this one, you see, I will dodge first. If I know the behemoth attack pattern, I will dodge first and then lay down the fire, because there's no sense in dodging early, or like if you don't know the behemoth attack pattern, then there's no point in like suffering or making yourself suffer. What you want to do is you want to stay empowered, aim for vulnerable spots. Oh, the creature's already dead. Okay, great. Keep in mind that this is the easy escalation. This is not the hard escalation, which is why the creatures are dying so fast. Yes, granted, my repeaters are only level 5, but at the same time, the creatures in the escalation are very weak. Especially in Frost escalation, because Frost escalation gives you many escalation buffs. So please do not think that what I am using now is some super superior build. The flawless build will still give the best damage in like an actual escalation, like the 10 to 50 escalation. Again, this is just 1 to 13. I'm just doing this to showcase repeater combat in a simple setting. Alright, if you want more advanced repeater combat, then I recommend you watch my streams where I use the repeaters, and then you'll see me fighting in teams with my members, and also you'll be able to see more advanced repeater combat against tougher behemoths, things like that. But for now, this is just simple to show you. Like, what you want to do is you want to avoid situations where you are going to lose your predator buff, because with repeaters you need to maintain as much as possible. That's why I will always aim to break parts as much as I can to keep it staggered. Now if I do take a hit on my shield, I will lose my bonus, but that's okay. If I lose my bonus, it comes back in 15 seconds, but my damage will be greatly reduced during this time. Losing 35% damage is huge. So that is why you want to practice your dodging, because repeaters are relatively easy to dodge if you know what you're doing. So practice, and you know, get to know behemoth attack patterns. If you do that, you will always be able to fight with the repeaters, because repeaters, like I said, they are easy weapons to get used to. And in the Slayer's pathway, you also gain bonus movement speed. Alright, so now I show you again, no consumables used throughout this entire process. Okay, so we just finished the normal Frost escalation. It's just like that. Alright, so that is how you fight with repeaters. That is my tutorial for the repeaters, the proper tutorial for the repeaters for this current 2022. And of course, if you would like to continue supporting my content, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can also send a tip via the link in the description of the video if you want to see the channel continue running. You can become a channel member and receive access to various perks. And last but not least, you can choose to send super thanks on YouTube if you want me to also receive like more benefits to keep the channel running. Okay, thank you very much, and we move to our thank you scene as well. Here are January's top supporters: Bravo 7910, Randomo, Swordmaster Krempas, Johnny Nara, Alien Frost 80, Zavu Zumaki, Kazmanta, my lovely girl, Zakan FG, Galaxy Train, Calvin Maxi, Rune Eater, Rogue Assassin, Shroot, I'm a Buckshead, Viper 91, Real British Robot, The Mighty Zeno, Leviosa, IKXI, Night Ranger X, and Franz Schubert. We appreciate you very much. Also our Throne of Honor, Puni Puni Only Fan, Zach NFG Prestige, Nate the Great Prestige, The Forgotten Prestige, Night Ranger X Prestige, Mashari Al Shahari Prestige, Titorius Venom Prestige, and King Prestige. Thank you all very much for supporting the channel, and I'll see you all on the next one. Okay? Macho Libre believes in you.